Welcome to SBS News in Easy English. I'm Hannah Kwan. Prime Minister Scott Morrison is announcing plans to build a new submarine base on Australia's east coast. In a speech broadcast by the Lowy Institute, Scott Morrison said that Australia was facing its most serious security environment in 80 years, with the rise of autocracies across the world and the attack on Ukraine by Russian military. He said that the East Coast base would help with Australia's defence.
Threats in our region are proliferating from both state and non-state actors. Militarisation is expanding and evolving rapidly. The spectre from terrorism and all forms of violent extremism endures. The challenge from more surreptitious malign activities, espionage, disinformation, cyber attacks, foreign interference and economic coercion, it's mounting daily.
Mr Morrison says Australia's national security and safety relies on investing in defence, and that defence spending in 2020 and 2021 as a percentage of Australia's economy is now at 2%. The body of Australian cricket star Shane Warne has arrived in the city of Suratani in Thailand, where the autopsy to examine his body will begin. The 52-year-old died from a suspected heart attack in Thailand. A state funeral will be held for Warne in Victoria after an offer from the state government. Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison says thousands of defence workers are ready to help flood-affected communities in New South Wales. Some people living in those areas have complained that there haven't been enough staff provided to help in the crisis and not enough money spent on the emergency response. The New South Wales government says it is ready to accept more money after the federal government introduced a $434 million package last week for the cleanup. Another person has died in the Queensland flood disaster, bringing the total death toll to 12 people. The body of a 60-year-old man was found in a car in southeast Queensland. A passenger in the same car was found alive after she was able to escape. More heavy storms and damaging winds are expected across parts of Brisbane, Logan, Ipswich and Gympie on Monday. On Sunday, Queensland's southeast experienced further heavy rain, and the damage bill from the disaster is likely to be more than $1 billion. 3 people have been injured after a car crash on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. A car caught on fire and 6 ambulances were called to the scene on Monday morning. 1 person is seriously injured, and at least 2 cars were involved in the crash. New South Wales police officials say one of the cars was allegedly stolen. And in sport, a fight at a football game in central Mexico has left at least 2 football fans badly injured. Witnesses said there wasn't enough protection and security at the stadium when the fighting spread to the field. The game between Atlas and Querétaro was stopped when the fight started. The mother of an injured fan, Gabriela Godinez, described her son Gustavo's condition.
He was hit. They took off all his clothes. He's wounded in the head. He is under observation, of course, to check that all his organs are fine. It's difficult.
And that's SBS News in Easy English. This is SBS News in Easy English. I'm Hannah Kwan. Australia is announcing new sanctions against Russia, targeting people who spread propaganda and false information about the invasion of Ukraine. 10 people in Russia will be sanctioned for encouraging violence towards Ukraine and driving false claims that mass murder is taking place against ethnic Russians in eastern Ukraine. Australia's Foreign Ministry says other financial sanctions will be enacted against Russia's army, as well as 6 senior military commanders responsible for attacks on Ukraine. The bodies of a man and a woman have been found in floodwaters in Sydney's west. They were found near a car belonging to a mother and son who went missing on Monday. New South Wales Police say an announcement will be made once the bodies are formally identified. Dean Narramore from the Bureau of Meteorology says there will be more intense flooding over the next 2 days.
Severe weather warning is current for heavy rainfall and damaging winds extending from the Hunter Coast all the way down to the Victorian border, including the Sydney metropolitan area, the Illawarra and the South Coast, and extending inland to the ranges as well. Then what we're going to see is the winds really start to pick up as we move into tonight and early tomorrow morning.
Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk says a military figure will help with the state's flood cleanup and recovery. The death toll from the southeast Queensland flood disaster has risen to 13. The body of a man believed to be in his 30s was found in a car in floodwaters in the Condamine River on Monday afternoon. Another man is still missing in the Brisbane River after being seen heading into the waterway in the city's west. Ms. Palaszczuk says it will take a lot to rebuild.
Today I'm very pleased to announce that Major General Jake Elwood will be Queensland's Flood Recovery Coordinator. Now, Jake is no stranger to Queensland, having served at some of the highest ranks in Queensland and federally. And he had no hesitation when we asked him to do this job.
Shane Warne's body is being prepared for a flight from Thailand to Australia after Thai authorities confirmed his death was not suspicious. Autopsy results showed the 52-year-old had died from a suspected heart attack, confirming the death was due to natural causes with no signs of foul play. His body is expected to leave Thailand today. And today is International Women's Day. Female leaders from Australia's manufacturing industry are calling on more women to join the trade. Group Strategy and Communications Manager at Industrial machine manufacturer ANCA, Joanna Boland, is encouraging all women to consider a job in manufacturing.
I think every industry can do with more gender diversity, and manufacturing does tend to have more males than females. So get in there and make a difference and bring our perspective and experience into manufacturing to make it a better industry for everyone.
You've been listening to SBS News in Easy English. I'm Hannah Kwan.